If anybody had ever said, any chance, 20 years from now, you're going to have, the fastest growing criminal defense firm in the U.S., I'd be like, no, and how dare you, because I just had this weird white hat kind of thing, that was not the road to success for me. I did that for 5 years. I was pretty unceremoniously shown the door by the person that made those decisions. And then I didn't know what I could do, I didn't know if I was going to keep practicing law or what, but I at that time, I went to go work for a personal injury firm that wanted to develop a criminal defense kind of division. So I kind of did that with them. And I learned personal injury law. And then after about 3 years, I just felt it was time for me to do my own thing. And I really only did criminal and DUI defense. And the only thing I had going for me was I was now I'm a former prosecutor, so if they won't let me be a prosecutor, I'll just use that as prosecutor. That'll be my tagline, and it's an effective one because people would hear that and go, wow, this somebody who's been on that other side of, they must really know. And I do think that that's true. I think that there's a benefit to having that as experience. And we have now my big thing is we've got 8 former prosecutors on our team. And I think that makes us the most formidable criminal defense firm. I mean, I'll say on the West Coast at this point, just because as time goes on, I do, and I see what's going on, I do feel like I can start to say things like that. But at the time, that was the only thing I had because I had no history of being a criminal defense attorney. I didn't have a string of referral source, but I also knew marketing to a certain degree, certainly better than any other attorney that I was dealing with. And so I was able to kind of grow over time and, do okay, but over the course of about 4 or 5 years, gained some traction, and I realized I just want to be running the firm. I don't really want to be the person that's having to drive all over the place and going to court and, getting yelled at by this judge or that, client's, a family member who isn't happy about the great deal that I got him. So I hired somebody who then became one of our partners who had extensive experience, much more experience than me as a criminal defense attorney. But that was like a big, move to make because this is not somebody that, was an entry level attorney. I had to pay, significantly to get that person to, come on board. But that bet paid off. That gave us a lot more credibility and it gave us a lot more authority within the legal community. And then we found somebody else who I knew was my partner, Casey, who was with a very prestigious local law firm. And I pitched him on the idea of joining forces, and it was the right time for him because he felt as though maybe things had kind of plateaued where he was at. And he came on board, but he wasn't going to do that. He wasn't going to work for me, and so he proposed the idea of a partnership. And I spent about 5 minutes going, before I said, yeah, that makes perfect sense. And I started to realize at that point, I've never really needed to see my name out there. I don't even like my name. My name sucks. It has no punch. If you read it, you'll mispronounce it. If you say my name, Garrel, nobody will know how to spell. It's just terrible. It was the easiest name to not have on the door. Plus, I just felt like that was really limiting, and I wanted to build something that would grow and have significance, and ultimately would kind of start to get some traction. And by bringing people like this in and making sacrifice and giving up a significant part of what I owned in exchange for the possibility of this thing that I now have, a significant control over, not complete control, but I'm able to kind of lead it. And now, but the potential for that is just, exponentially, greater than what I had.